Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Toe Tags Metal Reviews, and today we're going to be giving you guys our final review of Omni by Angra. So I'm going to open the floor here with my thoughts of this album after 1 week, and I think this is a pretty damn good album. The 4 songs I wanted to talk about, like in specifics, are Insania, Bottom of My Soul, Always More, and Infinite Nothing. Now these are 4 songs we kind of ripped on a little bit last week. Yeah. I wanted to talk about how these songs have grown or not grown on me through the week. Insania, Bottom of My Soul, definitely grew. Both of these songs, especially Insania, did a lot better for me over the week. I did not get tired of them. I felt Insania was really, I don't want to say interactive, that's not the correct word, but I wanted to say it's very, it has the energy that the other songs had, but it's not as brutal as the first 3 songs. It's still active.
Okay.
And I really like the bass line at the beginning, like when it's going into the verses. I think that's sick, and I think the drum lick is also sick. How it's not a conventional like hat groove, it's just on the drums. I thought that was really interesting. And I love every time that came up. Fuck, that sounds cool. Yeah. Every time. Bottom of My Soul, we said, oh, you know, it's too much of a downer, blah, 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 like driven the energy. I think it's just enough, especially after the 4 songs before it, especially going into Warhorns right after, which brings the energy back up. That worked out for me. And the only song that I could say that really did not get me was Always More. Every time I heard it, I'm like, eh. And every other song had something about it that made me go, oh wow, okay, that was, and a lot of the songs had me just like floored, but that one kind of stuck out like a sore thumb. It makes sense to have, you know, a ballad near the end, especially before the big long epic, which was Silence Inside, but it was, I don't know, I felt personally that it wasn't powerful enough for me, but it could probably work for other audiences. I just personally wasn't a huge fan.
Okay.
Infinite Nothing. I had one issue with this song, really, is that it was too long. I thought it was cool to have this big orchestral end to the album, and it reused themes from other songs.
It did.
I specifically remember hearing some themes from Caveman in there during the chorus, and I'm like,
there's a few songs in there. I don't know if maybe all of them are in there, I'm not sure.
Perhaps.
There's definitely a few songs.
That was one that stood out to me.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool that they had all the self-referential stuff in this final track. I just felt that having it be 5 minutes kind of stretches it a little bit. And around the 3-minute mark is when I was kind of getting tired of it, so if it was trimmed down to 3 minutes, I would have been like, oh yeah, this is a great ending. Especially because it reuses all of the content from the other songs, and I thought that was really interesting.
Cool.
So what are your thoughts?
I'm actually probably shocked to say this, but I didn't get bored of anything at any point at any time. I actually enjoyed this album quite thoroughly. There's a few points I'd like to make. Just a couple, I guess, silly little points about a few different songs. So we talked about Always More. The song starts off, it's a ballad, right? Slow ballad type of song. It starts off pretty slow, but once you get past that intro, like the first maybe minute, I feel like the song gets a lot better. It just the I don't know what about it changes, but something changes and it gets better. But it reminds me so much of a Disney song, and I mentioned that last week, that some songs on here remind me of Disney, but honestly, the melody of this song is almost exactly like the Circle of Life from The Lion King, and you can almost sing the lyrics to the Circle of Life along with this song, and it matches up pretty good. So that's one thing. The next thing is Insania. Insania, love this song, but this song reminds me of like, it reminds me of maybe like the end credits music to like an 80s action fantasy movie or something. Like, it just sounds like it's from the soundtrack of a corny 80s movie.
I could never understand that. You were saying that a few times. I'm like, I really don't see it.
That's just what I'm getting from it. And then Infinite Nothing. Okay, we talked about that a second ago. You were just mentioning it. There's parts of that song that remind me of, I don't know if you guys ever played Mario Kart. I know you played Mario Kart, but when you win at the end and you're on the podium and the music's playing, I'm like getting all these flashbacks of old school Mario Kart. I'm like, this fucking sounds like Mario Kart. And last but not least, Warhorns. When the main groove, the main riff kicks in of Warhorns, I'm like, this sounds like a 90s TV show. Like, it's like if you took like Doctor Who and Buffy the Vampire Slayer theme music and smash them together, you get Warhorns. But you want to know what? None of what I just said is a bad thing. In fact, I think it actually adds to the testament that this album is very diverse. There's a lot going on and nothing sounds the same, but it's all well presented and well performed. The musicianship on this album is great. I find that there's a lot of cool riffs, very melodic. The drums, the rhythmic patterns are really awesome. What's the one song? There's one song, let me see your song list right here. I can't remember which one it was. Travelers of Time, I think it's the one, Travelers of Time.
With the drum solo?
No, but it's the intro of the song I'm talking about, where I just love the way all the instruments come in. Is that the one that's like, almost like a, I don't even know how to describe it, but anyways, the way the instruments come into the song, and you know, then it all just kind of comes together, then the main groove starts and the riffs start and all that stuff. I just fucking love how it's put together. The vocals are great. If I had to nitpick a little bit, I'd say the vocals sound a little bit too much like Bruce Dickinson. I was getting a lot of Iron Maiden vibes.
I heard that as well, actually.
And a lot of people that heard me listening to this throughout the week were like, "Hey, is that Iron Maiden?" And I'm like, "No, it's Angra." They're like, "Who?" And I had to tell them who Angra is. But they sound, this band, at least this album, sounds a lot like if Iron Maiden like rubbed off on Dream Theater a little bit and it had like a little like love child. That's kind of what this reminded me of a little bit. But yeah, like I'm shocked that I even liked the slower songs. I didn't skip them once. I didn't skip anything at any point. I enjoyed the album thoroughly. But time for scores. So what do you give Omni?
All right, I already said this album was really entertaining. I talked about the few things that grew on me and some things that didn't stick, but I would like to say that everything else on this album, literally everything else, is incredible. Blew my mind every time I heard it, and there was constantly moments in every song that I'm like, yes, I can't wait for this part, or holy shit, that was cool, did you hear that? Oh my god, and this album was constantly like blowing my mind after every listen, and that of course is the sign of a toe tag album. This album gets my toe tag because wow, after 1 week I can still listen to these tracks and have my mind blown by them. So what's your score?
You know what, after 1 week I'm still listening to this stuff and still discovering new things in these songs and going, you know, well, that was cool, I didn't notice that before. And that is something that I really, really like when I'm listening to my music. This one obviously was a little bit difficult to rate because if you watched our first impressions video, you will see that we basically shat all over it. We weren't that fond of it in the first impressions. But I think that this is an example of the softer side of metal, which is a side that I don't give enough attention to, and I'll admit that. I talked about how I'm much more a fan of the minor scale than the major scale. I like deeper, darker, angrier music. It's just my preference. This is a lot more upbeat, light sounding, you know, that kind of stuff. But I do know that once I get into that right mindset, I can really, really dig this stuff, and I really, really dug this album. So, like you, Mr. TV Fish, I give this album a toe tag. This album's getting added to the list of two toe tags. You guys gotta check this out. I know a lot of you guys watching have already listened to this album. We got a lot of flack on our first impressions video for some of our negative thoughts and opinions, but you guys gotta understand, at that point, we only listened to the album one time. We listened to it all week, non-stop, and we really got to, you know, develop a proper opinion and really got a chance to really appreciate the album for what it is. So, yeah, man, two toe tags, well deserved. These guys are great, and I'm gonna go check out Temple of Shadows.
Yes, we will listen to Temple of Shadows. We got many requests on that video.
We're not gonna review it though, but we will listen to it and we'll check it out. But that's it for this video. So again, leave your thoughts below. Let us know what you think of our review. If you guys are new to the channel.
Yeah, I'd like to know what other albums of this band you guys like, because clearly you like Temple of Shadows. I'm curious, what do you think of their other albums?
Yeah, everybody's saying Temple of Shadows. Like, what about Secret Garden? Or like, nobody mentioned Secret Garden.
Aqua, or Rebirth, or anything.
Yeah, but either way, whatever. We know you guys like Angra. They're a cool band from Brazil.
So. Good enough to be on our list of two toe tags. Check this album out. It's incredible. Subscribe if you're new. We're gonna have so much more metal content coming for you guys very soon. I'm TV Fish.
And I'm Vile Self.
We'll see you guys later.
Later, guys.